Just passing through.
We have a special message that Patty is preparing for you guys. Hopefully we can hear it here.
I'm sure you're just like this where we can go. They just don't have it. Totally why. Why might you just zoom there like what's wrong with it? Might have it. Might
Hi everyone, thank you for being here today. I'm Sy Tomashoff, coming to you virtually from Asheville.
All right, folks, welcome to the Dark Shadows by Design panel about this exciting new book about Dark Shadows scenic designer, Sy Tomashoff. And I'm here with the book's author. Yeah, give Sy Tomashoff a round of applause. Absolutely. Now, Patty has a great message for us. And who is the person? What's that?
Messenger.
The messenger, yeah.
So Sy Tomashoff gave me this wonderful little video, audio greeting to you guys. I just want to play it real quick.
Sy Tomashoff is the daughter of Sy Tomashoff.
One of Sy's daughters.
Hi everyone, thank you for being here today. I'm Sy Tomashoff, coming to you virtually from Asheville, North Carolina. I was just 10 years old when Dark Shadows began. All of my classmates to this day talk about how we ran home from school to watch the show. And oh, how I would squeal and scream when I saw my dad's name on the credits. I love that I got to go to work with my dad from time to time, to wander around the studio, to watch tapings in the control room, and the prop room. The prop room was probably my favorite place, filled from floor to ceiling with paraphernalia that was hand-picked, mostly by my dad. What a thrill for a little girl. When Patty came to my sister and I saying she wanted to write a book about our father, we were surprised and curious. How could a woman who'd never met him do such a thing? But it didn't take long before we realized her love of architecture and her passion for this project made her the ideal person. We realized how awesome it was that she stepped up to share Sy Tomashoff's remarkable talent, creativity, charisma, impeccable skills in design and problem solving with anyone and everyone who was interested. Truly a gift to us, to our father, and to you. On behalf of my sister and I, we wish you a wonderful time at this event and thank you for your ongoing enthusiasm. Bye now.
All right, so
To add one more thing. So that was Sy Tomashoff, but we're also very fortunate to have in the audience, I'm hoping I'm not going to embarrass her, her sister Liz. If you would wave, thank you so much for coming.
Okay, so much like the Jonathan Frigg panel, the Dark Shadows Festival sent out an email soliciting questions from you guys. So these questions come from you. So I will start with question one here. What was Sai's process while he worked? What did he think was the most important aspect of a set?
Okay, well, my understanding from all the people that I was lucky enough to interview who worked with him, his process first was one of quite a bit of research, and he would receive a script, he would come up with a sketch proposal, then he would meet weekly with Curtis and the production team. They would review it, and then he would make any adjustments, go back to his office, which was a good at least 10 New York City blocks away from the studio on 70th Street, and produce working drawings, which he would then give with a requested deadline to the scenic shop, the ABC scenic shop, to actually create the sets. Then when the sets came in, and also I wanted to say he would really collaborate a lot with the scenic workers, and they really enjoyed working with him because he would understand how to make something buildable. So he would make them look good, which they were very, very happy with. He would also come in sometimes, he was also shopping. He was the set designer and the set decorator. The only other person that helped him was a prop person that did hand props. So he almost did it all. He would also shop and bring in some things. There's a drawing, and you guys have probably seen a lot of you, but it's Josette's room. And when I saw this drawing, it was really funny because where you see these beautiful plaster ornamentation pieces in the wall paneling, he just had on his drawing these little squiggles. So we're like, well, how is the scenic shop supposed to know what these squiggles are? I'm sorry. How is the scenic shop supposed to know what the squiggles were going to be? And so he would often go to the shop and say, this is what I want these to look like, or here I brought something that I found somewhere I want you to incorporate. And another example was like the mausoleum gates. He brought the mausoleum iron gates to the shop and said, I want you to use these. And they said, oh, that's too heavy. We can make you something out of plywood. And he said, no, I insist, I want to use these gates. So, he would work back and forth with them. And then he would go to the studio, watch people, put the sets up and adjust things and put up pictures where they should be for the specific camera shots. And the man was just boundless energy and worked a good 12-hour days regularly.
Wow. So the next question, when and where can I get your book on Sy Tomashoff?
Well, I had meant to have them here, but that didn't work out with the printer. So I have a certain number of paperbacks that I can sell directly, and I'll let people know when those are available, probably towards the end of the month. And then I'll have a hardback version, and after I sell those paperbacks, I'll also have a paperback version on Amazon.
Great. It's definitely the curse of Dark Shadows with these books that have not been able to make it to the festival. How long did it take Mr. Tomashoff to design the Collinwood set?
Okay, the initial sets for the first episode, including the Collinwood foyer and drawing room, Dan Curtis gave him 6 weeks to put together, the first 15 sets for Dark Shadows. So those all showed, I think the first episode, if you include the outside and the inside of the foyer as 2 different sets, the first episode had 9 sets.
What was Mr. Tomashoff most proud of and liked talking about, considering his work on Dark Shadows?
I think I've heard him say in some interviews that he really was proud of the Collinwood foyer. And the reason was that he never got a complaint from any of the directors that they could not get the kind of shot that they were looking for. You know, he gave them a lot of different opportunities, but the 2 levels, you know, with the stained glass windows and the upper landing on the stairs, and then being able to see through from the front doors into the foyer, and then in the drawing room, and then out the window. He really liked to set up these sets where you could see from one room to the other, one section of a room to the other, which he felt always made the sets look bigger than they really were.
What happened to the large furniture that decorated the world of Dark Shadows, such as the clock in the main hallway?
Okay. I did not do a lot of research on that part of the set design. I was mainly focused on what he was doing for the sets. I included in my book a few things that I did know about. A lot of that, some things were rented. They had to go back to the rental places. Other large pieces were owned by ABC, and so they were either sold or put in storage or used in other shows. I knew the stained glass windows were on an episode of All My Children in the back of a marriage ceremony. So I did see that. But a lot of it's a mystery where it went.
Question 6. What influences did Sy take from to create the set designs for Dark Shadows?
He loved Gothic literature. He loved horror movies. I think he used to take Ivy and Liz to see horror movies. Their mom didn't like it, but he did.
He's nodding back there.
He had of course, being a former architect, he had a collection of architectural history books, so he was very into researching books and magazines and things like that, using his own imagination. And of course, one of these huge inspirations was Seaview Terrace that Collinwood was modeled after, both inside and outside. I know some people said, I can't remember who, but that there was not a lot of influence from the inside of Seaview Terrace for the sets that Tomashoff created, and I would respectfully, completely disagree with that. So in my book, you can see some side-by-side. I was lucky enough to be able to see the inside of Seaview Terrace, which of course Jeff Kinney knows like the side of his tattooed arm with Collinwood on. And I do side-by-side comparisons with some things that, in my opinion, were things that influenced certain sets.
Were most of the furniture decor in the old house and at Collinwood originally antiques, and where were they purchased from?
Okay. My understanding is a lot of them were antiques, or they were antique reproductions. So again, Sy did a lot, if not all, of his own shopping for the show. And he also looked at, is this just furniture we're talking about? I can't remember.
Is it furniture / decor?
Oh, okay. So antique stores, a lot of the portraits he did that were family ancestry portraits were all original oils that he picked up at antique stores. But he would also, of course, they were near Broadway, so there were all these shops, for Broadway plays that he could go and find things at. He went to junkyards, he went to architectural salvage places, he went to architectural supply houses because he was so familiar with them. For example, the Lion's Head in the mausoleum was part of an architectural catalog, wrought iron, decorative pieces for the outsides of buildings. And I believe now that I cannot remember in my book whether that place is still in business or not. But
you found, in your book, you found images from those catalogs where you can see where the lion's head came from and other things like that, which I think is just sensational. Yeah. How did he approach changing the Collinwood sets as the show spanned different time periods, including parallel time?
Okay, so he would keep a lot of items, as you guys probably know from looking at the foyer and especially the Collinwood drawing room, especially around the perimeter. He would keep a lot of those set pieces consistent throughout the entire show. And he had said that that was because in every family, especially one that lived that long in one place, would have heirlooms that they would want to keep. And continue on with. So he would mainly take the furniture in the midground and the foreground, and he would do his best to find pieces that would reflect that time frame that those were in. And another thing he did I thought was really fascinating, and it just speaks to his authenticity with his sets, is that he used period colors. So if you were looking at the 1795 episode, you would see like the old house, that peach color, which to me at first was like, oh my God, you know, that's really pink. Maybe it's a 60s like color people like, but no, it was a historic color that people used to paint the inside of their house with in the late 1700s and the early 1800s. And then when he went into 1897, he used a lot of Victorian colors, so rich burgundy reds and dark greens and browns and golds. And that was the way, you know, one of the ways he did that as well.
Okay. And the next question kind of ties into that. Were there signature set elements for a storyline / timeline?
Yes, there were some. I think my favorite example and something that he was seemed to have been really excited about was the playroom, that he found this incredible painting of this girl and boy that he would, you know, that he put above the fireplace, and that was definitely a signature piece for that particular room. So he did that whenever he had the inspiration and the opportunity to find something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Great. So the next question, question 10 from you guys. The 1995 ruination of Collinwood was a stupendous feat. Besides his brilliant vision, how was it executed so well given the crazy pace of daytime soaps?
Yeah. So he had a week to create 1995 and the ruination of the Collinwood drawing room and the foyer, and actually some of the upstairs rooms, I guess including Julia's room as well. And he did it not by taking things away from the set, but by adding things to it. So if you see like little spots of brick on the wall where it looks like the plaster had come off, those were pieces that he actually added on top and was able to take off afterwards. All the beams and everything were just in plants, and everything else were just added in. And then when he had to take them out again, I think he had like a Friday afternoon and a weekend, and everything had to be perfectly back the way it was before. So that was definitely almost an all-nighter to get all that stuff in. In fact, he said he had a couple of beams and he's like, okay, we got 2 more beams to put in. And the workers said, no, I'm sorry, we are like dead tired, we're going home. So there were 2 beams that never got put up.
Presumably, budgets were limited for such a high concept as Dark Shadows. What were his greatest challenges, frustrations, and successes navigating the opposing factors of resources, time, and creativity?
I'm not really sure what he thought his greatest challenge was. I do, from, again, speaking with people that work with him, especially people later after Dark Shadows, but also a few with Dark Shadows, that they never heard him complain about anything. He thrived on the pace of soap operas, which I understand are the most critical, the most difficult pace, timing-wise, that you can have in television. He seemed to thrive on it, where other people said, I can't take this, I can't do this. Again, 12-hour days were normal. And I think that, you know, which I can relate to from being an architect, but anyway, the thing that astounded me was that, I think maybe it was Liz or Ivy that said he always had time for his family. And as a woman in architecture, pulling 12, sometimes 16-hour days and coming home and, helping with homework, I wish I had been able to talk to him and ask him what his secret was.
How did Mr. Tomashoff's skills evolve across his 3 major soaps over time? Dark Shadows, Ryan's Hope, and The Bold and the Beautiful.
One thing that really impressed me about him over the course of his career was that he was really excited about every new technology that came along. For example, the backdrops, when television started out, were mostly painted backdrops, and he did use some of those on Dark Shadows, but he also used new photo backdrops that he would send a photograph and an assistant to Pacific Studios in Los Angeles, have them do the photo backdrops because they were the absolute best at it, and they were the ones that were the best at that new technology, and then he would have them shipped all the way back to New York and use them. When he went into Capitol and The Bold and the Beautiful, then he was one of the people that were instrumental in using backlit photo backdrops, which was a newer technology. That's one example. The other thing that cracked me up was he was working on The Bold and the Beautiful in his 60s. He did not retire until he was 77 years old from The Bold and the Beautiful. And in the 60s, what came along? Computer-aided drafting, CAD. And he just it seemed like he picked it right up. Jack Forrestal, his assistant production designer, who I was lucky enough to be able to interview, said that sometimes he would draw his own still by hand. Other times he would work on the computer or give Jack his sketches to do on the computer. He said he used to sit there and he used to talk to his computer while he was working on it. It used to drive me crazy.
All right. And the last question here, what were the differences for Sy working on Dark Shadows compared to The Bold and the Beautiful?
One thing that he loved was that the studio was more than twice as big as the studio for Dark Shadows. It was actually a twin to the studio for the Carol Burnett show, which was being done right next door to it at ABC Television, or CBS, excuse me, Television City here in Los Angeles. So there was that. His office was right next to the studio. It wasn't way down the street where he had to go back and forth and back and forth. And storage and scenic shops were right down the hall. So he wasn't worrying as much about things getting banged up, being trucked back and forth. He was able to do more permanent sets, even though he still made those where they could be broken down and in bigger pieces because they were easier to transport. And he had a really good budget. So.
Great. Now, Patty, this Count Patofi hand bot, is this the hand of Count Patofi?
The hand is off doing, I don't know where the hand is. Shall we do it?
Yeah.
Okay, we're doing the drawing for a free paperback. When I finally get the printed versions of my book, I will email you and get your address and send it to you. So do you want to? You can pick one up.
Oh, you want me to? Okay. You want me to reach into the box of Count Patofi's hand? Aha. All right. Well, let's see here. I'll reach in and pick out a name. The winner is Sylvana Alexander. Sylvana Alexander. Are you here?
You don't have to be here, so if you're not here, that's okay.
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 Well, Patty, thank you very much. Folks. Absolutely. I got a sneak peek at had this book. I was able to get a look at it, and it's absolutely sensational. You're definitely going to want to pick this up. Something else you're definitely going to want to do is stick around for the very exciting memorabilia auction that is coming up, hosted by Mr. Jim Pearson. Oh, what's this?
I forgot there was a fruit basket. Oh. There's a fruit basket and people put their names in, and we will draw that.
And somebody left their Return to Collinwood book that's been signed to Rob and Jerry Lacey and Donna Wandry. So if Rob's in the room, here's your book. And her name is Victoria. I cannot take care of her. That's just one of the antique collectibles we're going to be auctioning in the next 10 minutes here in this ballroom. So please stand by and we will throw all sorts of fun artifacts at you.
All right, so the winner of the Jonathan Fruit basket is Marge Hicks.
Oh, there she is. She's coming. Yay, Marge!
Yay, Marge!
Okay.
You're gonna be able to get that home.
There's Christy Nelson in the room. Paige?